and welcome to POWERfuel and Preachisms. I am Power Coach Alishia, and today we're talking about embracing your imperfections, owning your flaws, and empowering your confidence. If you would like notifications of when I go live, be sure to text the word sold to the number 41372. Again, that's sold to the number 41372, and you will get a text as soon as I go live, so you can join me here and hang out with me here. You might see me looking to different areas. I'm live in multiple places, so just know that. I want to let you know that I have a new podcast dropping tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. That episode is all about not editing yourself to make others feel comfortable. It's something that I'm really passionate about. So I highly recommend that you go to soulfirepodcast.com and, subscribe so that way you get the notification. My podcast is everywhere. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, it's just really everywhere. So you can find it. There is a Spirit of the Soul session tomorrow, all about the new moon coming up on the 17th. I think we're going to do it tomorrow. We'll see what happens. And for everything Soulfire, including free downloads to start or restart and or deepen your soul healing journey, go to soulfirepodcast.com. If you don't know who I am, I'm Power Coach Alishia, and I specialize in helping women heal their soul, put themselves first without feeling guilty, and find themselves again. Through my AWC process, I teach you how to go from burnt out and disconnected, feeling lost, to that soul aliveness and connection and peak personal power. So I'm really excited to be here with you today, talking all about embracing your imperfections through owning your flaws and empowering your self-confidence. So we're going to go in and go ahead and jump into today's content. Normally, most Wednesdays of the month, I am here at 6 p.m. Eastern, throwing down some POWERfuel and Preachisms. So again, if you want to be notified of when I go live, you just text the word sold to the number 41372. So as we start into today's session, I want to really look at the aspect of things you don't like about yourself. All right. So that's where we're going to start, is in what you think about all the time about yourself, the things that you don't like about yourself, the disconnected you feel or disconnectedness you feel with the different areas of your life and with yourself. We're going to kind of dive into there first. So we're going to go into the things that you do like about yourself and how to really supercharge those. So those stand out for you. Those are the things that you're paying attention to. And then the space that your confidence lies in, right? Your confidence lies in. So those are going to be the three main areas, right? So what you don't like about yourself, what you do like about yourself, and then the space of where your confidence lies in, are going to be our three main points that we go over today. So what you don't like about yourself. Where did what you don't like about yourself come from, right? Did you have a mom that was curvier and she constantly talked about the fact that she hated that she was so fat, right? Is that where it came from? Did what you don't like about yourself come from an ex or a family member who's in your life constantly telling you these things about yourself that makes you, or that you ended up believing, and now it's part of your belief system and how you beat yourself up? Where did it come from, the things that you don't like? Now, you might be thinking, well, I've always felt this way. I've always been this way. This is where, my mind has always been. Nothing really happened. It's not true. Our belief systems and the way that we treat ourselves and the way we think about ourselves come from conditioning. It comes from those things that we constantly hear over and over and over again that we buy into as our own, or even something we've heard one time and it hit us like so hard and so deep in our gut that we took that, and when we moved forward, that thing became a foundational part of our belief system and how we operate with ourselves, and you don't even realize it, right? So where did it come from? Do some work, do a little digging, and find out where that connection came and what made you own it as your belief system. Right? What made you decide that that was true for you? Was it your age, so you didn't know any better? Was it the person, so you just trusted them and believed that it must be true because of who it came from? Was it conditioning, something that you heard over and over and over and over and over again until it became you? Get really clear on that. And then how long has it been here? When was the circumstance, situation, or whatever that happened? When was that? How long ago was that? Because that's another huge thing. Like, how long has this been a way that you feel about yourself? And maybe you didn't realize where it came from. You did realize where it came from, or you didn't realize like how long it's been there, right? This is a great time to analyze things from an objective standpoint so that you can take the information that you have and use it to be empowering for yourself, right? Because this session is all about embracing your imperfections, owning those flaws, and empowering your confidence, right? So if you're honest with yourself and not in a beat up, victimizing sort of way, but that honesty from all these different angles that we're talking about here, and then you take that information and you do something positive with it, it will empower you to be a better version of yourself. And that's literally what I'm all about. So the next thing is, once you look at where did the things that you don't like about yourself come from? It's usually a circumstance or a person, right? So I always say like a circumstance, a person, a thing, maybe a place where something happened, but it's usually like a circumstance surrounding a person, right? So where did that come from? How long has it been there? And then what happened to where you formed that as an opinion of yourself, a belief system of yourself, and how you view yourself? Because it's not usually just, oh, something happens and now you believe that. It's usually something happens, and based on what happens, from there, it starts formulating in your mind, and now it becomes a belief system. It's like you found truth in that, and then you held that on as your truth instead of looking at that going, which most people don't know how to do. So it's no fault to you. But instead of looking at that going, you know what, that's not a truth for me, right? That isn't what I believe to be true about myself, or that isn't a full truth for me. And then defining what is, and then, moving that way. So what happened to where you formed that opinion? And then is it is it actually true for you, or a habit that you formed, right? Is whatever it is actually true for you? Or does it end up being a habit that you formed because, again, it was a belief system or a thought process that you held on to for a longer term? These are all things that I want you to look at from this like different light and different perspective so you can get a hold on these belief systems that you have with yourself and shift them from BS, right? Bullshit belief systems to this empowering sort of motivation and energy, this conviction that helps you be that best version of you for you and for everybody else in your life. All right. So the next part of this is the things that you do like about yourself. I didn't actually check who the author was, but somebody can put it in the comments or whatever. But Now Discovering Your Strengths, it's a book. This book says, don't focus on your weaknesses and what you don't like. Put your energy into your strengths and making them even more powerful. It's like your weaknesses, they're going to be there, right? They are just part of, your baseline, personality and your characteristics. Those weaknesses show up and are there for every single person. So if you put your energy into focusing on those weaknesses and how bad they are and how bad you suck and all of that stuff, then you're taking away from the strengths that you do have, developing those strengths, making them more powerful, and being and living at the best version of you. See, when you focus on your weaknesses, you can't be at the highest level of what you have to give and how you show up in the world. You can't, because you're wasting too much time on the negatives and the shit parts of things that they're taking up a chunk of that space and time that you could actually be devoting to what your strengths are and improving on those strengths and letting those be more at the forefront. I can tell you, for me, for so long in my life, I want to say probably 29-ish years. I don't know. Let's see, 11 years ago. How old was I 11 years ago? 28 years old. 27, 28 years. I literally lived the first 28 years of my life in the space of my weaknesses, right? Those flaws of my personality and my characteristics and how I showed up. And so because I lived in that space, that's what people saw of me. Now, the people who got close enough to me realized that I had a bigger heart and like was loyal to a fault and I would do anything for them. But that took time and work and trust that was built for them to see that. And through my evolution, my personal development, the work that I've done, now you get to see that from the forefront. You get that trust from the forefront. And now I allow you to ruin that trust over time in your own actions. But the old version of me was like, no, you're going to build that trust. I've been fucked over way too much, blah, blah, blah. And so people were always having to work so hard to break down my walls that they didn't build. I need you to hear that. I used to operate in an energy that the people in my life had to work hard to break down walls within me that they didn't build. Is that true for you? Do you do that? People who operate like that will say, yeah, I mean, I've been through a lot. And if people really want me in their life, like they're going to have to be patient with me and do the work and show up and show me that, they are who they say they are. And they're going to do what they say that they're going to do, because I've been through some shit and some people have done some shit to me. And it's been so hard for me. And I just don't want to go through that again. And I say to you, like, I get that. I get the idea of living in that space of you're going to work to earn my trust so that I can be more vulnerable and more open with you because of the shit I've been through. My big preachism on that is like, why the fuck do I have to work to break down your walls when I didn't put them there in the first place? Why can't I have my own space in your life and either like fucking show you I'm phenomenal and brilliant and awesome and like a good person for you and loyal and all the things that you're looking for, whether it be friend or if it's family or, loving partner or whatever. Like, why can't I have my own space to fuck it up or build it bigger? Why do I have to work my ass off to build that connection of something that I didn't create? Like I have a big issue with that coming from somebody that used to operate like that. That's not fair to other people. And if you can't show up in vulnerableness and authenticity and who you are, while also giving those people the trust and the opportunity to break that trust, it makes it so hard to build deep bonds with you. They have to do so much work. And it creates a lot of barriers to entry in the depth of communication, the depth of intellectual conversation, the depth of understanding, the depth in creating peace in those relationships and more love in those relationships, protecting those relationships. It makes it very hard to create an environment of like safe space and holding space for each other because one person is showing up authentically, let's say, and vulnerable in who they are. And the other person's going, you're going to have to work a lot harder for that. Now, I'm not saying that you look at this from like that sort of lens and not like black and white, but the truth is that's what it boils all the way down to, is that you're making people work their ass off to prove themselves to you when they did nothing to break that trust in the first place. Whew. Sit in that for a minute. All right. I don't know who you are because it's not showing me because I'm on StreamYard, but it says, could living in a negative space draw more negative energy to you? Of course, like 100 fucking percent. And not only like living in a negative space draw more negative energy to you, not just living in a negative space, right? And maybe negative space means I'm not happy with my job, my home life is, I hate my home life, or it's, not what I want it to be. Like it could be like that. More than that, though, allowing people in your fucking space who deplete your energy will draw more of that to you as well. Like more than anything, the energetics of your tribe is everything. More than anything, because the energetics of your tribe like grossly impact your quality of life. So the people that you're hanging around with, if they're negative, if they bring you down, if they deplete you, no matter who the fuck they are and how much you love them and all the shit, I don't care about any of that. I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, your uncle, your brother, your cousin, your soul sister, best fucking friend, the love of your life. I don't give a shit. If those people are bringing negative energy to your space, you will attract more people who bring negative energy to your space. It doesn't matter who they are. And a lot of times people will think, well, this is my mom. Like, I love her. Like, she's a given. Is she? I don't say she is. Nobody is a fucking given in anybody's life. It's like, if you want to be in my life And I'm like even more staunch on this. The more I'm going through my level ups through the next level version of myself, because I'm always doing work and I'm always learning and growing, just as I teach. You'll hear me come to a POWERfuel and Preachism session. I'll lay it all out, like the shit that I'm going through and what I'm growing through right now, because I'm real in everything that I do, right? I'm not like I've shown up and arrived and I've got this all figured out. Now you need to come to my level. I'm like, okay, this is the level I'm at and this is the knowledge that I have to give to you. And I'm just looking for people who are vibrating at that frequency and we're continuing to grow together. Someone who pushes me to be better in all ways. And I can do that for them too. So here's my challenge, right? That I'm noticing and where I'm at right now. It's like, I don't really want anybody in my life who's not at my vibration or higher. To me, I feel like that may come off a little cocky or a little arrogant, right? But because of who I am and how I show up as a soul healer, I tend to attract broken people, and I'm always doing that work to put them back together, right? Because that's who I am, and I have the tools and the information, like that guidance and all of those things. And the problem with that is it creates one-sided relationships with people of all different designs. Again, whether it's family or friends or lovers, it creates one-sided relationships, and it makes me feel extremely alone. So as I give the advice that your tribe is so fucking important, because that energy of that tribe is what impacts all the other energies in your life. So if you have a tribe that just, in different ways is depleting you and bringing you down and all the things, even though they might add some positive, all the positive has to outweigh the negative. It's just like going to obliterate all the other areas of your life. So I'm really in this area of like, I can fucking love you and think you're so amazing. But if you don't light up my soul when we are in physical energy together and I just feel like, hell yes, I want to be with you, I'm really not going to have you very much an active part of my life. I don't have the desire for that. And yes, again, I am talking about my friends, my family, my lovers, right? Like I'm talking about all three of these areas. I want it. I'm not saying we won't have hard times. I'm not saying we won't have disagreements. I'm not saying there aren't going to be things that we've got to work through because we've got personality types and we're human. But what I'm saying is I want to vibrate at the same level, or I want you to be higher than me because I want you to raise me up as I raise you up. I don't want you to be at a lower vibration than me where it always feels like I'm bringing you to my level. And it feels like the value that I'm adding to your life is always way more than the value that you add to mine. Not to be confused with looking for people that it's equal. That's not what I'm saying. I have learned that what I bring to the table in most relationships, people will never bring because of who I am. So it isn't about the comparison of that. It's about who that person is and their ability to show up in that relationship at that vibrational level. So I know that was like a long answer to the question. I'm just saying like it's so much more about your tribe and the people you surround yourself with than just a negative space, because who you're surrounded with makes you feel better, makes you be better, makes you show up better, right? Which means that space in all the areas, you'll feel better in them. If you're in a job that you hate but you're surrounded by people that you love, the chance of you staying in that job or that you love and that like light up your soul and all of those things, the chance as you staying in that job is slim to none. Right? It's slim to none because that's the place that feels disconnected and doesn't feel right for you, and where you don't feel whole and where like you don't feel full. And so you're like, I need to let this go. You'll have more of that let go energy and more of the confidence to step out into a new job, career, whatever business, and something that you really want to do, in my opinion. So, and in my professional experience. So, in the book Now Discover Your Strengths, you don't want to focus on your weaknesses, and you want to focus and put your energy onto your strengths. Make your strengths stronger and allow your weaknesses to be something like to be in your awareness, while also standing in your strength to grow those weaknesses into strengths. So you have to acknowledge your weaknesses. You've got to be honest about your weaknesses, your flaws, your faults, right? And it stops there. Stand in the power of your strengths and go, okay, this is a fault, a weakness, a disconnection in me that I want to change, I want to fix, that I want to grow through. And here's a strength that I have that's perfect for that. So I want to do that work to strengthen that weakness, right? So yes, knowing what your weaknesses are and where you want to grow is so important. And what I'm saying is, don't live there. Okay? Don't live in your weakness, your faults, and your flaws. Acknowledge, understand, connect, and be clear, and then go to work to grow. So, number one was the things that you don't like about yourself. Where did not liking them come from? How long have they been there? What happened for you to form that opinion? And is it true for you or a habit that you formed? Two, the things that you do like about yourself, right? And that's focusing on your strengths and using those strengths to develop your weaknesses and make them stronger, and acknowledging those weaknesses, understanding, connecting with, right, those weaknesses, but not living there. And number three is the space where your confidence lies, the space where your confidence is, the space where your confidence is fucking fire is so, so, so important. Looking in the areas of like, when do you feel most confident? As I've been doing the work around my confidence, this list is growing on a regular basis. I used to only feel confident in certain, small areas. And now I'm confident in so many more areas, like the majority of areas in my life. And don't mistake that with at times I feel, insecure and we're human. So you're always going to feel insecure in areas that you are confident in, but sometimes things rock you, or sometimes things trigger you, or sometimes things happen that take that back, or sometimes your mind goes to a time where somebody did something and it like, now this person's doing something that kind of relates to that, and that, it brings up some shit. But I stand in a lot more confidence now than I ever did insecurity in a multitude of ways and areas of my life, but it wasn't always like that. And so where are you most confident? I really used to feel like I wasn't confident in most areas. And off the top of my head, I could think of two. And I've just done so much work in all the areas because I want to be confident in the majority of areas in my life. And the places that I'm not confident in, I'll do the work on those, So where are you most confident? Think about that. And then what you want to do is be in that area or in that space as much as fucking possible, while continuing to develop other areas of confidence in all other places. Okay. Also, when you're looking at the area that you are most, or areas you're most confident in, why are you most confident in that area or those areas? What makes it that way for you? What made it that way for you? What did you do? Who did it or said it? Or, where did it come from? Was it always like that for you? That's important to know. How did you develop this confidence? Most times confidence doesn't just show up, right? It is a series of actions and habits and energies around you that develop that. So look at, where did that confidence come from? How did you develop it? What was the environment that you were in, and the energy that you were in, and the work that you took, or the work that you did, the effort that you made? Because to develop confidence in other areas, you just take the same actions. It's a rinse and repeat in the different areas that you want to develop the confidence. And so the easiest way to do that and figure out what those actions are is look at, how did you develop the confidence in the areas that you are confident? So like, was it knowledge? Was it people? Was it energy? Was it action? Like, what was it? And what can you do to share that confidence in the other areas that you're not very confident? If you step back and you analyze things from a place of asking quality questions, you're going to get quality answers, quality guidance, and lead to a quality place of self-growth. Always. So number three is the space that your confidence lies in. Where are you most confident? Why are you most confident in that area? How did you develop that confidence? And what can you do to share that confidence into the other areas that you don't feel as confident in? So people want to say you shouldn't have negative thoughts. You shouldn't think negatively about yourself. You shouldn't. Da, da, da. Tony Robbins says you can't just go to the garden and chant, "There's no weeds. There's no weeds. There's no weeds. There's no weeds," when you can clearly see that there are weeds everywhere. The point is acknowledging that there's weeds, acknowledging that you don't like that they're there, and then make a plan to get rid of them. The truth is, though, the weeds come back. You can do some preventative things. You can do some, weed maintenance. You can take some extra efforts and work, but there are always going to be weeds that come up that you have to do the work in. But in order for you to do the work to clear them out, you have to acknowledge that they're there. You have to give them that space within you before stepping into the work energy and clearing of them, right? So I don't love at all, and I completely disagree with the idea that you just shouldn't talk negative to yourself. Like, that's not good for you. I mean, it's not good. I mean, I agree with that, but you can't just say, don't talk negative to yourself. You've got to give more than that. Why do you do that? Where did it come from? Who instilled that into you? What did someone say or do that was fucked up that you bought into a belief system, a situation, an issue, things that they said that you then took and made it your belief system, a truth for you. And that's why you talk shit to yourself. You don't just talk shit to yourself because you woke up on a Tuesday. That's not how that works, right? It goes so much deeper than that. Like I said, I'm here most Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern doing these POWERfuel and Preachisms. I love them. They're who I am as Power Coach Alishia. So I hope that you love them too. Please like, subscribe, and share wherever you're listening to this. You can always text SOUL to the number 41372. You'll get a text on when I go live, first dibs on free training and podcast reminders, all of that good stuff. Remember that podcast is coming out tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Don't edit yourself to make others feel comfortable. You can find that at soulfirepodcast.com. Plus the new moon in Capricorn is coming up on the Spirit of the Soul tomorrow, which drops at 8 p.m. Eastern. Yes. And then for everything that you want that is all soul fire, including free downloads to start, restart, or deepen your soul healing, go to soulfirepodcast.com. As I always say yes to yourself more than you say yes to other people. Remember that it's always about progress, not perfection, and give yourself some grace. I'm Power Coach Alishia, and we'll see you next time.